All right, folks, welcome to another Play All 3. And to play all 3 in Group D in Titans League, we've got Dark. Dark, a player who was relegated out of Platinum the previous season. Alongside MBL, actually, in this group, which is interesting because I think they were in the same group last season. But that's not important. What is important is that Dark is second place in the group right now. He has won every single series 2-1. So he is 6-3. Or am I wrong on that? Yeah, no, I think I'm correct on that. He's 6-3. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. So he's looked good. And his round after this would be the final round for both he and MBL. MBL is actually first place in the group with 11 wins. So it seems like it will be difficult for Dark to be able to catch up to MBL. But a good result here today, like let's say he gets a 2-1 or a 3-0. And then maybe his final series against MBL could be a fight over first place. He's playing as the Burmese here. Yeah, Dark has looked good. And everyone else in Group D, they've been struggling a bit. It's 4 wins for Fedex. And then it is 3 wins for both Nili, Rapard, and for Casva. So if Fedex can, let's say he loses the series like everyone else has lost against Dark. If he can get 1 win, like actually everyone else was able to, then he extends his lead over the others he's competing with below him and keeps himself safe and maybe even gets into the playoffs. The playoff conversation in this group will be interesting because there's really only been 2 that have been ahead of the others. First place gets promoted to Platinum next season. Second place goes up against the third place from Group C, I think it is. And then third place goes into the playoffs against the second place player from Group C. And forgive me, I think it's A versus B and C versus D. Yeah, A, B, B, A, C, D, C, or D, C, whatever. I think that's what it is. So Aztecs for Fedex, he is the player who would have loved to play some Arena here today. But Dark is no stranger to Arena. Dark actually really likes closed maps as well. Fedex is a chess professional from Argentina. Grandmaster in chess. I personally suck at chess. I know how the pieces move. That's about it. So I maybe can't even appreciate that. But I know chess is like a massive game. And to be a Grandmaster and to be at the level he is pretty wild. You can look him up on Wikipedia. It's funny. Instead of wolves, we have Komodo dragons here. It's always going to be fun. Again, I explained in a cast earlier today, but it's possible others would have missed it. I was told after sets were played this week that there is a bug where when animals attack, there's no attack notification. So I'm kind of concerned that a player could maybe lose a villager here. These are Rex. These games already happened. I don't know the result. But yeah, that's a bug that we have since passed information on to the devs. And basically, the bug is any map that's a custom map. Okay, so here we have a Komodo Dragon. I knew it was going to happen. Any map that's a custom map, there's no wild animal notifications when you get attacked. But Fedex isn't going to need a notification to know that there's a Komodo Dragon here. So he shoots the Komodo Dragon initially. And kind of has a rough time initially. And he's going to kill this bull right where he wants it, right underneath the TC. Okay. So, Burmese Aztecs is a matchup I haven't seen in a long time on an Arena map. But it was seen a lot more commonly before we had some of the most recent expansions. Like, Poles and Burgundians dominate Arena. Bohemians dominate Arena. Like, those civs are really, really strong. But before those civs existed, Burmese and Aztecs, we saw these a lot. And it's kind of a complicated one because I think the Aztecs, what normally is the dominating conversation on Arena maps with them is the HP on their monks. But HP on monks, how strong your monks, how tanky your monks are, that does not matter if your monk gets converted. Your HP does not matter to God, okay? God only cares about your faith, I guess. I don't know. So, you know, if it's going to be a monk war, you could say, well, Burmese could just convert the stronger monks, right? But what Aztecs also can do is they can mix in eagles. And eagles can kill monks. Now, I don't think we're going to see that from Fedex because he's clicked up already. This indicates to me that this is going to be all-in monks. This is really fast. So maybe add the siege to bust through the wall, and then go for as many monks as possible. It actually looks like Dark might be building up for scouts, actually. Which you'd see on normal arena, but on Zawal, it's not something I've seen too much of yet, at least as an opening. Guys, I'm not opening a beer, okay? It's not a beer. Don't worry about it. Oh, wait, what? He's going to stone? Wait, what? Whoa, this is a super late uptime. I mean, you have Fedex going for one of the fastest possible uptimes you'll see for a fast castle. Like, this is really at the limit. Probably won't even be able to afford eco upgrades. And then you have Dark taking his good old time. And this might be a fast imp. I think this is defensive castle, fast Imperial Age. If I had to guess just based on the build. Whoa. Yeah, 29 pop. Also, it's possible that he talked with Rapard. I don't know how close Rapard and Dark are, but they are from the same country. And Rapard went Fast Imp almost every game that he's played on this map. So maybe they both feel like Fast Imp is the play. It's actually just an energy drink. It's not a beer. I did have a beer last night. It was very tasty. I might have a beer tonight as well. I don't know. It's a weekend, right? I work on weekends, so it's a little bit different, but it's all good. My Friday nights are usually like a Sunday night because I don't work Mondays as much, but I got home from 2 weeks in Australia and I've streamed every day since. So, been playing catch up here. TTL has helped with that. Vinch is not in their group. He is standalone, but Vinch and Rapard are buddies. Are Vinch and Rapard that close? I don't actually know. I know Vinch and Dark, even though they're number 1 and number 2 in Russia, they don't play in team game tournaments together. But I always thought it was because of the level difference. Like, Vinch should really be teamed. Like, I think he teamed with ACCM, right? Vinch should really be teamed with someone that's, like, top 20. You mean Dark and Rapard? Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. I could see them talking a bit more. So you don't really know what your opponent's doing, but based on their feudal age time, you should know the castle age time is going to be pretty all-in strat. Fedex didn't sell all of his stone to achieve this, but again, like, this is really fast. We'll see house walls this direction from Dark, which is pretty smart. He's also house walled in towards the TC here. And I think maybe we just see a castle in front. And I don't know. Maybe you go for Arambai too. Like, maybe Arambai's good. It is ranged. You could maybe get in close and pick off the monks. Then the HP on the Aztec monks will matter. This is almost looking like Fedex might just want to get the relics and get out, though. Haven't seen a second monastery yet. Of course, you do have to add the siege to take out these walls. So I could maybe see the second TC coming up for Fedex. Just because he's investing into the economy more than I expected him to. Look at the food count, guys. Got more farms going up as well. Definitely feels like Dark wants Fast Imp. Won't need that much wood. Because the building that's going to take him to the next stage is going to be the castle. You either go like University, Monastery, or Siege Workshop. 2 out of those 3 is your castle age buildings. Or 1 castle does it. Ooh, Dark saw this, and for a second, he was thinking about placing another wall piece behind. But he thought better of it. Ultimately, I think he ends up pulling all of his villagers off of stone, or selling any excess stone as well. He wants to see what's happening here. That's a Komodo dragon being attacked, but it's being healing up. Or the villagers getting healed up after being attacked by the Komodo. That's nice. And we have double monastery, and then we have a castle from Dark. Really taking his time with that castle, too. And no loom. So if the eagle goes through there, it could be a problem. I would personally be building that castle with a few more villagers, but he wants the farmers. And this is fast imp monks. And Fedex got information on this. So Fedex, man, I cannot click that freaking eagle for the life of me. Fedex is going to see... Well, he doesn't see the second monastery, which might have him confused. But I think both of these guys have really good understandings of arena builds. I think you should know. I'm going to tell you what you do, okay? I mean, not exactly what you do, but I'm going to tell you what I think becomes important here. And what's going to become important, obviously, is monk numbers. You cannot lose your monks to the scout. You're going to lose your monk to the scout. Scout gets deleted. Not too bad. But you need to make sure these stone walls work for you, man. And you need to build something other than a palisade gate. You get these relics, and then you just hope that you can survive long enough to get to imp yourself. But when you add the town centers, you're investing so much food into villagers, which requires so much farms for you to then float food. But you're stuck. Like, this is your strat. No switching away from it. It will take quite a bit of time for Dark to get his monk number rolling. But again, he can convert all of the monks from Fedex. Burmese have discounted monk upgrades. Does Fedex know about this relic? Oh, he doesn't actually see the final relic here. He should know there's 3, though. So he should be checking for it. 5 relics right now with Aztecs, so it's not bad. I think Vince trained Dark and then he left Sal's, so I thought Vince may have perceived that as a bit of a betrayal. I don't know. I don't know if it's, like... My guess is... It's very common. Players will try something new. It doesn't work out. Maybe they don't gel together. Maybe they don't agree on certain strats. And they're like, okay, that's not for us. That's probably what happens. I don't think Dark was like, screw you. I think Dark had some other players that maybe he felt like were better to play with. Eagles would get converted. So Fedex either needs to flee or delete here. And he did add the stone wall piece, which I think is really smart. And now he knows that relic's there, and he's probably annoyed. Fedex, you know monks, dude. That's going to be a conversion every time. Delete. Not deleting. 51 villagers versus 34. Monastery number 3 coming up for Dark. We're going full clown mode here. I think maybe staying in Castle Age and making eagles is the play for Fedex here. But against imp monks, it could be pretty difficult. Hey, T90, what's the best time to join for community games? Really inactive on Facebook, so I missed most of your streams, sadly. Really looking forward to playing a community game one day. Join the Discord, which you're going to need to enter the games anyways if you get here. I always post my schedule for the streams, and if you also go to the rules channel, in the rules channel, you can react with the clock symbol, and Discord pings every time I'm live, anywhere, or doing anything. And it's on Fridays. Typically, I start at noon Eastern. I don't know what time that would be for you. Typically, I go for about like 6 or 7 hours, starting around noon Eastern time. Hope that helps. Siege tower! Fedex with a siege tower! Yo, this could be epic. Remember, he's hungry for wins, man. He is starving for victories. Really needs win, and he needs to just kill these monks. You kill these monks, you win the game. You kill the monks, you kill the trebs, you win the game. You have a massive eco lead right now. So he's like, how do I get in close to the monks? I'm going to use the siege tower. I think this is actually better use of the siege tower than actually sending things over top of walls. Now, he doesn't have Eagle Warrior upgrade. He's just on Eagle Scout. The Dark is in now. And Dark is currently trubbing down the monastery that's researching heresy as well, which means any unit that gets converted will die for Fedex. And that's obviously something he wants here. Will he get it? Will he get it? Will he get it? He gets it. Monks can convert those eagles, though. You need to use the siege tower. Oh my god, he's looped. He's looped and he's transported over top. But now they're not... But now there could be conversions. So he actually did siege tower over. Dark doesn't have any clue this is happening. This is epic. This is epic. Are you kidding me? Siege tower hype, baby. And a 30 villager lead right now for Fedex, and he could still keep his relics if he wants to, because these Eagles are out in a big number right now and getting all these kills versus the Eagles. Wow. That might be the game. You have a 30 villager lead with 3 town centers versus 1. You're taking out Trebs. You still are going to have relics. Don't tell me he gets both Trebs. Oh my god. You're going to get another monk. Holy crap. Everything that... And another monk. He did lose a lot of Eagles. But everything that Dark's been making is incredibly expensive. And he doesn't have the food economy to realistically go for long swords to counter Eagles now. He just doesn't. And here are more Eagles. This is GG. This is game over. There's no way you stop this from here. You cannot catch up economically at this point. The economy is massive for Fedex. It is more of every resource except stone. Now from Fedex, you brace yourself for the next play from your opponent. And then now you can realistically think about Imp, because your economy is insane. Fedex, if he wins this series, he could maybe pass Dark. We didn't talk about that possibility. Pass Dark in the group. Because Dark's 6 wins coming into this. Fedex has 4. We do have supplies coming in, so it's a bit cheaper to produce the Man-at-Arms. These are still Eagle Scouts. They're not Eagle Warriors yet. I don't think you really need to upgrade them at this point. Fedex is going to run in. Having Heresy, of course, which was such an interesting play. And I think you need to leave now. I think you're maybe getting too crazy. Just back away from the castle. Yeah. I think at this point, you're getting your relics back. You can drop some archery ranges. Stop producing Vills. And go up to Imp. And then you can also re-wall this right now. Re-wall this after you get your relic. And then you're an Imp on archers. And there's no way that archers could realistically be stopped. 94 villagers versus 48. Monk's going to try and get out of here. He just wants to take the relic to the Holy Lands, and he dies. That's a funny relic spot, though. Does that block Dark from getting through if he wants to? Well, now it doesn't. Fedex still isn't imping. He's still on Eagle Scout, and he's fighting Men-at-Arms that have +3 attack. So it's pretty wasteful. He's going to try and kill the monks with the Eagles. He'll kill a bunch of them. Yeah, he'll kill most of them, actually, so that's probably worth it. Still needs to make sure he clicks Imp. He's still spamming villagers like crazy. Super focused on that. And he's going for Militia now. He's going to stay in Castle Age? Don't... I mean, okay, I mean... I guess you could do that, too. With all these resources. Okay, now he realizes, and he clicks up. Remember, when I'm casting, I can break things down so easily. It's so easy to understand. You should do this. You should not do that. When you're in the game, it's a completely different story. That's the Imp TC. He should be on his way. He actually queued Loom behind Imp, so he doesn't have Loom on his Vills. And Dark has continued to pressure here. And Dark's just like Monk's Man-at-Arms. He's gonna come forward with Trebs. Dark's got a bigger time window to do damage than I really thought he could. Still could end up stealing these relics as well. Arbe says, if you're Fedex, do you try and win in Castle Age with Rams plus Eagle? I think Imp faster is the best play. The second best play is maybe stay in Castle Age and go all in Eagles and never give up this map control. Third best play is probably what he's done here. Extend your Castle Age. Invest a little bit more into army control. Get some pickoffs. But he hasn't been able to, like, fully take control of anything, which is giving Dark this opportunity. But, I mean, look at the army count. Think about the army comp we're looking at here. We've got longswords and monks. And, I mean... Fedex is surely under pressure right now. He is producing his longswords. He's going to wait for his upgrades. But he's really struggling, guys. Houses are getting destroyed and converted. Barracks are getting destroyed and converted. And then the Burmese longswords are stronger. Not to mention the monks that Dark has. They're going to be healing. Now, Fedex is going to take this fight before Imp. But the only thing that will really help him in Imp would be getting the long swordsman upgrade. Or the two-handed swordsman upgrade. Which should be a priority here. He's still got numbers. He's still clearing this up. We see a castle here from Dark that may end up being denied because Dark's getting rolled right now by the longswords. And continuing to lose monks, which is so costly for him. But, I mean, hey, if castle goes up, maybe then he could continue a bit of a push. Let's see. Feels like the monks, the healing aspect of the monks have done a lot. And then the extra attack that the once lower number of longswords Dark had, the extra attack has helped a lot as well. And somehow this is a game. There is a 70 villager lead for Fedex right now. But he can't translate that into winning fights. And the monks have just been wallowing this whole time. The longswords are in, you know, pretty solid numbers. And Fedex doesn't have any ranged units. It's only melee units. And he's running into superior melee units and monks that could essentially lead to kills here. This is crazy to me. 140 vills for Fedex, still booming. He's on two-handed swordsman. So he has the superior swordsman now. But how many of them are going to die because the monks back here? A decent amount of them. This castle has to be repaired for Fedex at the moment. He's actually going to queue up Eagles. Maybe a misclick. Eagle Warrior upgrade, though, tells me that that's intentional. I think he's worried about the monks. I think he realizes that he could possibly lose this game because of the amount of monks here. And he wants to run in and snipe those things once the longswords are out of position. Treble go down for Fedex. And the Eagles have been spotted. And Fedex says, screw it. I've shown my hand. I have to try. And he'll kill a lot of monks. That's good. That's a good find. This fight here, though, still decent for Dark. Dark still with 2 trebs, soon to be 3 on that castle. Army count for Dark still higher. What in the world? What is this game? Man, it's so, like... The beauty of the all-in pushes is that all of your focus is on the push, whereas the macro player, the players who had to fall back, they've got to manage this. And their imp can be delayed, or an upgrade's off, or, you know, a fight's not taken the right way. All because they're managing this. And then all of a sudden they find themselves like 5-10 minutes later in a position like Fedex is currently in, where you're desperate and you feel like you might not be able to do this. Fedex doesn't have gold. Like, he's got this gold, but he does not have a lot on gold. Dark's castle may end up being denied here because he wasn't able to get the quick balls down. But Dark's got 23 swordsmen with +3 attack at the moment. Fedex going to take a fight. Eagles on the monks. Here, Fedex aiming to take out another Trebi, taking out one of the 3. He's not going to get that one, and he lost his castle. Fedex is at 180 pop right now. I'd like to see a few more upgrades from Dark if possible. I do like the Arambai being mixed in, because Arambai could be really helpful. But man, is this messy. This castle goes up, though. That's 2 castles that will supply arrow fire. And there's no way for Fedex without siege to take down castles at the moment. Fedex has more army now. Will that last now that these castles are up, though? Double castle fire with fletching. The Burmese swordsman. The Arambai. More barracks for Fedex. He's got like 20 barracks right now. And Dark could drop another castle. Dark's going to drop another one right in the middle of it all. Oh my god. You also can't counterattack unless you break through this wall. That would be a sick play. is to like break through that wall and then run, you know, back into that eco. But obviously it's probably too late, because if you do that, then you have Erenbai, monks, and longswords in your eco. Dark was 70 villagers behind at one point. He's like 80 villagers behind right now. But he's had consistent control over these monks, getting conversions. And he's been pushing the whole way through. Does Fedex have Garland Wars? No, he couldn't really afford it. Losing the front golds and then losing his relics really hurt his gold count. I don't think Garland Wars is realistic. I think Champion's good, and then you hope to make enough traps to push this back. That's kind of the idea. And it's also probably too late to make archer ranges. It's better off. You get more immediate benefit to just sell wood and just keep making more champs. And you hope for a big enough mass. It's interesting, right? Because there's... the army counts will be similar, but we don't know if the monks will get the conversions, right? It's hard to calculate the healing. I would like to see the two-handed swordsman upgrade come in from Dark. Or more upgrades. He's getting armor. That's good, too. Yeah, Fedex has no relics. He has no gold. He's got his trebs here. He's aiming to use these trebs to take out the castle from Dark for a little bit more breathing room. He's repairing his treb desperately right now. Oh my god, there's champions coming in from down here as well, killing the repair villagers. Oh my god, can Fedex do this? I think Fedex could take the castle out. He still has to repair his treb. He's still on gold. Oh my god, what's happening? The champions are paying off. I'm not hearing many Wololos. Fedex, can he finally do this? No, the treb. The treb is pulled away. Guys, this castle has 11 kills. This castle has 10 kills. The monks have been healing. All these things have been contributing. Even though it's long swords, to holding on to this position. And remember, Fedex didn't have that much gold income. He's going to dive in for this trap. He'll take that. So there's still only one from Dark here. Fedex repairs now. But he ran out of gold while repairing. Like, that's how bad it is. So he has to mass sell just so he can queue up more stuff and, you know, get any potential repairs in. Castle went down. There's still another castle behind, which hurts. But, you know, it's one of the 3 castles that really needs to go down. And don't ask me why we're seeing the pikeman upgrade from Dark. That has to be... he probably just misclicked in the moment, trying to click two-handed swordsman. And Dark maybe needs to fall back for a second to his castle, because now he's lost his trip. What is this game? This game's ridiculous. Look at the difference in resources collected. Fedex has almost legitimately collected double the resources. This is insane. Wow. All 6 relics, though, sit in these forward monasteries for Dark. So he's got that gold income, plus he has this gold. And Fedex is just working on what's left of this gold. Fedex going pikeman also isn't going to be that helpful, but doing so, it makes sense when you know you're going to run out of gold. I would say in these moments, going for skirmisher, if anything, would be maybe a bit more helpful, but the guy's got 20 barracks. It's just so much easier, so much more effective immediately, that is, to just add more infantry. And one of those trebs from Fedex just went down a bit needlessly, but he's got a massive army, and he's looking to fight. There's the two-handed swordsman upgrade for Dark. Had he not misclicked it, he would have had it already, but he's going to have it now, as he actually has 0 on gold, guys. He actually has no gold left to mine except for the forward gold. But he has the relics. And he has 28 swordsmen, and Fedex only has 13 champions. And there's the castle fire, and there's the monks, and you see these units just dropping like flies because of the conversions. I think, even though Dark is 70 pop behind, I think he wins this game. There's no way this castle goes down. These Trebs need to be protected here, Fedex. Fedex is losing so much. He can't do it, and he's almost out of goal. Wow, what a game. I cannot believe that Dark won this game. What an incredible push. And I can't wait to look at a stat that shows me how many conversions he got here. It's going to be interesting because the way Capture Rate shows it is it shows conversions and then it shows desertions. But a lot of the units didn't really desert the forces for Fedex because they just died. So I don't know if Capture Rate shows deaths by conversions. But these monks, man, I don't have any stats on them here either. They've done an amazing job. I think you need to max out at champion at this point once you've got 50 infantry. The Dark may be thinking about it, and this might be the final attempt here from Fedex, as he will try and take out this castle, which is so crucial for Dark's position. Of course, taking out this castle means it's possible to maybe take out this castle, but Fedex taps out. He taps out, and he loses this game. This should not have happened, but it did. Guys, if Fedex gets relegated, if Fedex is like one win away from anything, like any additional jump up in spots in TTL, we will look back at this game. Because when he mopped up, like he had the perfect play initially, I felt like right here, this is a ridiculous position. 77 villagers versus 43. This is where the all-ins die. Right? Even at this point, 6k more resources collected. This is where all-ins died. This is when players GG. Dark didn't GG. He played towards Swordsman, which was probably the correct play. And honestly, I think the biggest concern here for Fedex was just not going imp, right? Like in this position, you see a bit of a push. Right now, he's got 6 vills in queue. That's 300 food. You just can't, you idle. You click up to imp. That's it. And I don't know how long it took him. Like, look. That was 29:30. Okay? 29:30. Idle, go imp. Here, what times he end up clicking? He clicks at like 31:30, I think. And also at the same time, I think a switch to range units would have been incredibly helpful. But as a player, I can recognize how difficult it is to make a tech switch when you're under pressure. Resources collected. I really have to do the math on this. Okay, so it wasn't double what Dark collected, but Fedex brought in so much in the way of resources. Oh, man. He brought in 37k wood, 35k food, 18k gold. And anyone, like any high-level player who would see this game would say that's a big throw, and I hope that doesn't affect Fedex's mindset in the future games, because I would be kicking myself massively. Because he really did everything right. He did everything he needed to win the game. He did all the hard parts to beat that strategy from Dark, and then he just couldn't finish it off. Fedex could have mixed in Jags. They would have traded extremely well, I think. Not really, because you also need your castle for champs. It wasn't really the unit type at this point. It was the amount of units and the upgrades on them when he had them, right? Like, you could have continued with infantry and won this game and be really stubborn and go full infantry as long as you're just an imp faster, right? Like, I think you can even make an argument. I know I said 29:30. I think a lot of players right here at 28 minutes, after they know their opponent's all in, they don't take this fight right now. And even here, you idle. Now, you don't have the food in the bank yet, but you just stop producing. And you might have even been thinking about it with the university. Sell all your wood. And then you just click up. He wouldn't have needed trebs. He wouldn't needed anything. He could have gone for his longsword approach and just won the day. But you know what's fun here? Let's look at the amount of conversions. Where is it? Where's the stat? Oh my god! What? So when monks don't succeed, just continue to make more of them? So I guess it was 36 conversions before heresy? Is that what this is telling me? but this actually shows the conversion / kills after Heresy. 144 units died from Fedex because of freaking monks. Holy crap. That is wild. And he didn't really have, it's not like he had massive groups, but he always had like 10. And they were always continuing to convert as well. So, yeah, I mean, monks played a role, but monks played a role due to a lot of small factors. The timing on the long swordsman, the castle position, all of that probably would have been stopped and pushed back. That is 144 divided by 4, the ratio. Wait, what? That's the ratio? What? Oh, this is the ratio. Oh, yeah. I'm stupid. Because then, like, obviously 0.03 conversions for Fedex didn't happen. Yeah, that's the ratio. That's also really bad ratio, but makes sense. Wow. I mean, he made so much army. 426 total army that game. So it doesn't even show the losses. I guess it's not tracking the losses as deaths. Dang. Wow. I mean, well played from Dark then. Well played from Dark. I mean, I think a couple tweaks from Fedex, he stomps this game. It's not even close, but still, you gotta really hand it to Dark there for continuing to push. All right, ladies and gents, welcome to Migration. And we've got Dark playing as the Portuguese. We've got Fedex playing as the Japanese. If you saw the first game, it was ridiculous. And also a ridiculous display of math on my part. I know you guys are all impressed. Just like ridiculous pull a rabbit out of the hat victory from Dark. A win he probably shouldn't have been able to snag, but he got the job done. Now he comes in here with Portuguese, and Portuguese, Japanese, both top 5 on Migration. I think most pros in golds would probably prefer Japanese. It's really interesting, right? But I think pros in platinum, so the top 24 would maybe prefer Portuguese. And I'm going to tell you why. I think the reason for this is because at the highest level, the peak level, top 24, their execution is always on point and always on like a crisp or in a crisp situation. And it then becomes more about what options do I have and how good are my units. And in Castle Age heading towards Imp, it feels a lot better for Portuguese in the future because you have like, you know, cheap monks, cheap knights, cheap archers, but then bombard cannons, which can feel quite nice to have. And Japanese don't have bombard cannons. Japanese don't have the best of knights, for example. But what Japanese do have is they have really good early game execution because cheap lumber camps, mills, mining camps, and then strong fishing ships. And so basically, you know, the idea is get ahead, stay ahead, and then figure out the rest later. So yeah, just like the way I've seen the drafts thus far, players have opted for Japanese as really early picks for Migra, and Japanese looked really good. But I think in a couple weeks when Platinum begins, when we've got like, you know, Viper, Tato, Leary, Hera, you know, all these big names, Doubt, not Nikov, sorry, Nikov's in gold. Sorry, Nikov, you got to make your way back to Plat, bro. But anyways, once we're talking top 24 names, obviously there's more I could mention. I think they would maybe opt for Portuguese. Also, having more ship HP gives you a bit more value in the engagements. So yeah, I think overall matchup's really close. I would say, you know, to give Civ odds, 51% to Portuguese, 49% to Japanese. That's where I'm at. Yeah, someone had asked me if I had to play best of 21 with one Civ only on mixed maps, what Civ I would pick, and I just said Portuguese. Because I think Portuguese are good in all settings. I did actually play a tournament. It was called Unus Imperium. And I played as the Portuguese in that tournament. And I won. It was, I think, 16 players or 32, I forget. Anyways, I won my first round against the Italians. And then I lost my second round in a best of 3 versus the Turks. But I was up against Hera. I did win a game, though. So that was nice. But that was when I was like, okay, I'm done signing up for tournaments where the top 10 sign up because I'm sick of... It was like the third tourney in a row where I'd like get excited and like, oh, let's play this tourney. And then second round, they just lose to a top 10 talent. And I'm like, oh, why did I get excited at all? So then I started to sign up for tournaments that would exclude some of the like top 15 names. So like no prize pool tournaments or just, you know, any tournament I could see where there weren't a lot of big signups. And then I was still losing to the top 30 names. So I've since decided just sign up and expect to lose. But I still was able to get some pretty good results this year, which I'm happy with. So wasn't Heroin the one with the deleted TC? He did delete his TC by mistake. Okay. But I would have beaten him anyways. My strategy was that good. All right. Yeah, I'm not... Okay, so I'm half kidding because obviously he's very, very good. And I don't know. But the strategy at the time with the organ gun balance and my timings on it, I do actually feel as though I had a really good shot to win that game. But yeah, obviously that him, you know, deleting the TC played a pretty big role. A win's a win, baby. A win's a win. What was funny about that was I said during my gameplay, I said, I have to keep Hera typing because the only thing I can do better than him as a caster is talk. So then when he was trying to message me back, he went to delete his message and deleted his TC. So it actually was a strat. It's funny how that played out. So anyways, looks like a fast castle to me from Fedex, and that is fairly common here. 10 fishing ships is what I've seen from most players. 3 docks is not something I've seen from everyone. I've seen a lot of 2 docks, 10 fishing ships, then fast castle. I don't think there's a big difference in it. Obviously, the hope is that he's going to have 800 food. And then gold to make navy, though. Dark, I think, is going galleys here. Still could be fast castle, but the timings are a bit off for him then. He deleted the TC on purpose to make the loss less awkward. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Third dock for Dark. Indicates more of a defensive style, actually, because he hasn't produced any navy yet. And then there's the blacksmith. This mining camp position's really rough. I wonder why he didn't mining camp here, because now you're blocking your wood line. I think Dark might sell all of his stone. You want a fast castle? God, this house, too, is kind of blocking things. It seems like he wanted fast castle, but the resources aren't quite there. I think he sells his stone. We'll see. Market blacksmith for Fedex. And things are much smoother for Fedex over here. He has more fishing ships bringing in food. And he's got navy on the way. And he's going to click up here. This is awesome from Fedex. Remember, this is the map where he got a win against MBL. He looked really strong there. If I beat a pro at anything, I would also hold on to that one win. Yeah. It gets to a point with me, though, where it's like, it doesn't feel like wins in ranked games even count, you know? Maybe that's my mind. Just like playing tricks on me. Maybe I don't give myself enough credit. But it does arrive to that point once you get to the level these guys are at. It's tourneys or bust. Some players really care about ranked games, but the majority, they don't really care. They're just having a good time. So transport's on the way for Dark. And here, 2 villagers just walking across. He did forget the scout, which is a bit interesting. Usually the scout goes along. Should have a transport from Fedex as well. And he'll probably send 2 villagers and the scout, which seems to be the meta. 12 fishing ships versus 9. Japanese fishing ships also stronger and a bit more efficient. So res collected there for Fedex in every way. That's looking pretty good for him. He does also have more ships on the fields. It's 3 villagers, which is always nice if you're going to be building TCs. This is going to be the sneaky forward dock approach that Yo does a lot on migration. This is so you can access the opponent's fish easier instead of looping around the sides. Oh, and his transport's going to go down. Ooh, that could be awkward later on. I really like this approach. Because while Japanese fishing ships are strong, when you're in Castle Age and you have the ship upgrade, they're going to still go down pretty quickly. Fedex will actually run into this and see this. But he will be forced to have to play a bit more defensive with things at home. And also have to balance out how much he wants to send forward towards Dark. And Dark's going to fall back. Good micro from Fedex. Here we have scouts engaging, and Dark gets the victory there. And this is going to be a monastery approach from Dark, so he can heal that back up. Fedex now does not know what Dark is going to be going for. Right now, though, it looks like second TC for Dark. And he will heal up. He might get the relics, and maybe we see a siege push eventually. I don't know. Okay, little just passing moment here for Dark. Here, Fedex finding 2 fishing ship kills. Very well played. Let's see if Dark can save this. And the fishing ships will melt pretty quickly. Fedex defending himself very nicely from this forward dock approach. This isn't too bad from Fedex. I think the forward dock works if it's not spotted. If it's spotted like this, it's going to go down very quickly. And here, Fedex did get caught out. And he'll try and loop on home. He's got more support headed that way. Dark really trying to keep this dock alive. But his villagers aren't protected anymore. And one of the vills will go down. There's a demo in this dock. So he's hoping to land a big one. And he does land a shot. But still, I think dock could end up going down. This is a very good Migra game thus far. And I think Fedex has the lead. He's got higher Navy number. He's got the higher fishing ship number. And he was faster to this town center. He is now with his own monastery. And Dark's going to add another dock. Dude, that's not going to work. Dark, that's not going to work. That dock will complete. And it is going to go direct. It is going to go down immediately afterwards. Right? Dark really trying to force the issue here. But I don't think that's going to have the best chances of success. Finally, Fedex able to get some more Navy around. And guys, Fedex is killing more fishing ships. He's found fishing ships here. He's able to defend on this area. He takes out the dock. This is amazing for Fedex. Honestly, Fedex has had a great series. He should have won the previous game. And now he's pretty much dominating Dark on water. And we'll just see what ends up happening on land. There also is the frustrating potential for Fedex that now he loops all of his Navy around the side and 1 or 2 demos blows it all up. That's what Dark will probably think about. So I'll check res collected again. I'm still about 1,000 resources more for Fedex. And Fedex, he's added a stable to add scouts, knowing there could be monks out here. And he sees the scout there from Dark. And Dark knows his opponent's going to have a stable. And he will probably end up doing the same, honestly. This kind of turns into an arena war where there's monks and scouts in the middle. Then you also have the massive navies on the sides. For Fedex, again, like, taking a decent fight there. Really good reaction to realize that he needs to show up with the next ship. Nice. Looks like there he lost a monk to the TC, though. So multitasking was a bit difficult. This is where I meant that a demo could become important, and there's nothing there from Dark because he's focused here. And he loses a scout, kills a monk, and that will actually be a scout conversion, I think. Yep. Fedex misjudges that one. Okay. Fedex isn't on stone, and this TC from Dark has just been mining stone like crazy. And Dark's got 3 monks. There's actually no monks for Fedex now. Not that I'm seeing. He's not producing any more either. He's adding more fishing ships right now. Like, the key for Fedex would actually be Lycav. The long term could be problematic with the siege if Dark realizes there's enough siege out here and wants to go for redemption. But right now he doesn't have sanctity. The siege could kill all of his monks. A couple spearmen out there, though, with the scout, going to force the siege back a bit more. This is where it's all going to go down here, guys. Whoever controls this area, whether it's Red's TC getting bashed down or FedEx's TC getting castle dropped, this is what decides the game. Look at the redocks from FedEx. He's sending all of his new fishing ships to more food sources. But you really need middle control right now. I think maybe guard tower? Like, do you expect it's going to be a cat? I don't think he knows it's going to be a castle drop yet, in all honesty. This is really going to be tricky to stop. And Dark knows that this castle's got to be, like, right in his face. If you're going to castle drop, you need to castle drop. It needs to be... It needs to guarantee that that TC gets taken out and that villagers are exposed. Yep, and that's a good one. So Fedex is going to see this. And if he sends the siege forward now, these monks are going to convert the siege. You actually can't do anything about this. You have to let this go up, I think. And somehow fall back. Here, Fedex defending on water. Fishing ships very exposed here. And it's not going to be easy for him to keep up with things, guys. Fedex had such a nice little lead. And it feels like, honestly, Dark's game plan... Like, Fedex is trying to do a lot. But Dark has one plan. It's like, take middle. I mean, it's not one plan. He's still fighting on water very well. But he has a more... It is a clearer plan on what he wants to accomplish in the middle. And he goes up to Imp now. And Fedex nowhere close. Nice demo there. The fishing ship still moving around. Probably we're heading to the other, like to the north where those other docks were to be able to take some of the fish. I think Fedex, he wants a castle here to defend himself from this. That's exactly what you want, though, if you're Dark. You want something to trap down. So seeing a castle here would be wonderful for you. It's also a good move from Fedex because he's worried he's going to get pushed. He kind of needs a castle like that, but he really needs the Imperial Age. Still a lot of Navy production from Fedex here. He's going to have way more Navy than Dark will. And Dark still, you know, has the option to continue to pressure on water, though. Just converts a villager, backs away with the monks. Dark 69 eco. It's 92 eco for Fedex. He's such a good eco player. It's just these Imperial Age timings. I mean, the previous game was ridiculous. There's no way Fedex gets a 70 eco lead in this game. Either defends from this or he doesn't, but... Do we have a university at all as a consideration from Dark, I'm wondering? And Dark's got a demo in here. He's waiting. He's going to hope to group these ships up and land a demo. Because he doesn't want to fully give up on water yet. Still trying to find fishing ship kills every once in a while. I think the demo landed. I, of course, was looking away. But to be expected that the demo would land. And, well, honestly, Dark will keep these docks up. He'll defend that. Could go fast fire ship here. Upgrade his ships. I actually forget if Portuguese get it. I feel like they should. They get galleons, they get heavy demo, they get caravels. Maybe they don't, actually. I take it back. They shouldn't get it, balance-wise. Be really funny if there was a pause right there for Dark to check the tech tree. Yeah, Dark has 4 relics, too. And first Treb's popping. So first Treb will start working away on this castle. We have galleys being added by Dark. And fletching, so he's thinking ranged ships will be the best play for him. The fires headed this way will be defended by Fedex. The fires headed this way, they'll be defended by Fedex as well. Fires are everywhere. But I mean, the middle. The monks. The trebs. This is an issue for Fedex. So I think what you do is you obviously are making trebs here, right? But you mass them all here. This castle buys you time, and you produce as many trebs out of it as you can. And then you hope to get like 4 trebs and then treb this castle down. If that's the plan. The ranged ships that Dark's adding right now, that's going to take a whole lot of time. We still need Bracer, Galleon. Those are all researches that haven't come in yet. Interesting for Fedex to add Rams here. I don't hate it because there's no melee units. There's no unit. Well, there's Vils, actually, which is maybe why you shouldn't do it. But he's just trying to make it messy here. Do things that Dark might not expect. And the Ram's actually on the Treb. Ooh. Oh, that's huge. Oh, that is an amazing find. Might end up keeping this castle up as the scouts loop around this way. Now, no fast fire ship for Fedex, but if you were to get fast fire, he could probably clear all of this as well. We actually have heavy demo for Dark, knowing he needs an answer to the fires. Oh, boy. Do-do. 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 Okay, could have been so much better, but he didn't realize. In his defense, he didn't realize. I don't know what Fedex is doing there with the trebuchet, but clearly he misclicked. And his treb goes down, which is a painful loss for him. Still feels like he can keep both these castles up, apparently. Losing a trebuchet to the castle fire doesn't help. It's mainly monks on the land for Dark. And Fedex is prepping light cav, but he doesn't have the biggest massive light cav, as both players are actually very low on food income right now. We have 2 Fatorias for Dark. He's added Fatorias on his island. And whoa, dude, this is going to get wild. Okay, so Fedex has held on here beautifully. But we might even have a Legend of Ice Sit situation if Dark just goes full water now. Like, what do you do? Okay, Lycav finding some monk kills. Well done. Great finds. And Dark has nothing on land. Oh, man. I mean, he has no army, right? He's got monks that can be killed by Lycav. He's got a couple spears. And now Fedex can breathe a little bit. What a great hold from Fedex. 102 eco. Fishing ships don't matter too much at this point. It's mainly about farming eco, which maybe he needs to work on a bit. Because if he wants to go range units, he needs more upgrades, which will cost food. Very curious, though. Because with Portuguese and Fatorias, anything can happen. That brings a trickle of all res. But it is quite slow. Chemistry, Galleon coming in, but just upgrading 8 ships. Fedex can see that his opponent has a castle here. He's getting elite skirmisher, expecting archers. And he's getting ballistics. And he's going to start to send units forward with these traps. Things have definitely slowed down a little bit. Galleon upgrades in. And they have full attack upgrades once ballistics is in. Now, Cataparuto isn't in. So that's, a little disappointing, I guess, for any Japanese fans out there. But, there's still a lot of trebs. And Dark tries to convert the trebs with the monks. And the light cap for Fedex come in. Gotta be a little bit careful here, Fedex, because if the mangonels get converted, you could lose your trebuchets. Now, the trebs are doing work. The trebs are doing absolute work here. Monk converts the mango, but who cares? What a game. Just a reminder, if you're looking at the populations, that Dark has 40 population up here due to the Fatoria. The 2 Fatorias, sorry. And Fedex sees his opponent's gone Galleon. Fatoria or no Fatoria, he should feel like with full land control, he can get the job done here. Normally, what players do in this position, in Fedex's position, or what they want, is they want this treb push to be with continuous castles. So, he's building up on stone. You want villagers coming forward, castle here, and then, a bunch of, all the trebs immediately go on that castle. Now, Japanese don't get bombard cannon. And you know, bombard cannons can hold against skirms. So we're starting to see a pretty big mass here. Also noticing that Dark is producing out of these docks. But the Galleon's just not cutting it. And the bombard cannon here should also go down to skirmishers. But, well, wait. Okay, so Dark is in bombard cannon defense mode, basically. His water control is not panning out. He has to, you know, defend from these traps. I don't mind the Faitoria here. But I'm concerned that if there's a time where he wants to stop using Faitorias, that he's not really going to have the population space. He will have to delete Vills eventually. But his resources are looking pretty good. And Fedex doesn't have any answer to the cannons. There's going to be a couple of them soon. Fedex is just kind of hoping here that he has the time to be able to take out this castle first. I think Dark... Does he repair this or what? There's a lot going on. There's fires around. Boom. Boom. The Trebs will take out the castle. Oh, that's sick timing. Packing up the Trebs there. Yeah, packing up the Trebs before you take out the castle out is just great game sense. Now, guys, Japanese do have good monks. They can convert the cannons. So maybe Fedex expects the need for some monks anyways. Maybe he sees these stables with the outpost. Maybe he knows that Dark will go for Cav. But Fedex certainly feels like it's going to be awkward trying to push down these cannons. I think, like, there's been 3 or 4 changes ever since Faitorias were produced to how they work. It's infinite res. And if you stall a game out, or if the game's going late, Faitorias could make a huge difference here. And with 3 Faitorias, I would say that currently the gold income is way faster for Dark than it is for Fedex. Fedex only has 19 on gold. There's 10 on gold for Dark, and then he has 3 Faitorias. It's just skirms here. But they did kill a cannon, so I suppose it's worth it. And now the Trebs come over here from Fedex to take out the next castle. Last time, Dark just made a new castle. I don't know if he'll be able to afford it this time. Dark's repairing, though, and Fedex realizes this is a mistake. Fedex is going to back away. If you had Katsa Peruto, this would be a little bit easier. Doesn't have it yet. Guys, you can't push cannons with Japanese. You have to convert the cannons. Let's see. Convert the Cavalier as well would be kind of nice. Okay, gets a Cavalier. Now you need Halbs. Now you need Barracks and you need Halbs if you're Fedex, ideally. Just go full trash and monks, maybe. God, that's so many monks! How are you supposed to have enough monks to convert the cannons? He gets one. What in the world is this game? Cavalier and cannons versus skirms and monks. Could swing either way, but I'm beginning to like the cannons and the Cavalier a bit more. Because of the traits. Because if Dark loses gold units, he can make more of them. And I'm not sure that's the situation here for Fedex at all. Yes, there is lots of gold around, but eventually that disappears. Also, this castle kind of protected the shoreline. There's going to be villagers out of jobs soon here, and they need to transport over. Yeah, maybe take a moment if you're Fedex. Analyze the situation, grab the relics, and then start to drop barracks so you can go for helps. Because, yeah, Portuguese have answers to the helps as well, but I think you have to, at the very least, force your opponent to you know, spend the res on it. A couple monks are going down. One cannon was converted. These Cavalier have full armor for Dark, who's taken the score lead. In another game in this series where Fedex has had the lead, arguably played better at various points throughout the game. It's a transition to Imp where Dark has made the difference in these games. Also, it does feel like Fedex has been very stubborn on tech switches. Like, he wants Monk Skirm to win him this game. I'm not sure Monk Skirm is going to be realistic for him to continue with in this game. The Bombard Cannons may have been converted by the Monks, but the Bombard Cannons are angry about it now, and they killed a lot of the Monks. Light Cav's been added to kill the Monks. There's 2 Monks here for Fedex. The rest is all Skirms and Trebs. This is brutal. The army count for Fedex is insane. He's got so many units, but it's the wrong units, and now he drops the barracks. Actually, he has very little wood at the moment as well, which is probably something that he maybe picked up on. He was like, I needed gold. Now I need gold. Now he needs wood. Oh, these villagers are running out of res as well. Okay, Dark needs... I don't think you actually need to drop the castle because you have Fatorias, but I would say villagers forward, dropping a castle next to these relics would be huge. You have the stone... It's just another way for you to end up getting gold income. I think that would be the optimal play. Still just 2 Fatorias here. He is actually adding a few more galleons now. Because he's got lands control. So he figures, why not take a bit more water control? And, oh man, poor Fedex. Even the barracks are kind of out of position now. This would have been fine when he had this position, but now it kind of feels like you're separated from the rest of the army. I think he needed pikes, yeah, but does pike help you push? It doesn't. Pike doesn't help you push. It's a Japanese problem, I think. Is not being able to have your own, not having access to your own cannons and being so reliant on trebs against cannons. That becomes complicated. But, you know, I think even with Halbs, there's never been anything to protect the cannons beyond Cavalier. So, yeah, if it was Halb, you know, I think you could have maybe even seen him diving in at times. Pretty nice, though, right? When you start to see your opponents adding Halbs, and then you say, oh, that's funny. I have castles, so I can add Fatoria. So I now have gunpowder, which is, of course, huge against Halbs. Fedex will know that he threw the first game. He would use the word throw. However you would say that in Spanish. I think he would classify that first game as a throw. This game, less so, right? I'd never think he had a massive must-win-the-game type lead. In fact, I think it was very close the whole way through. Because, like, Dark's Fast Imp really did a lot, but it was an amazing hold from Fedex. Like, I thought this castle was a goner. Fedex kept the castle up, pushed it all the way back. But the game stalled out. Dark was able to hold. Fatorias have certainly paid for themselves by now. And now it's just a matter of what army composition, what army type can you go for that beats the Portuguese? I don't know if Japanese have a unit that can beat the Portuguese. The longer the game goes, the worse the Japanese get. Portuguese, pretty solid throughout every age. The longer the game goes, the better they get, in some cases anyways. Yeah, Dark knew his win conditions in Imp. Still paying attention on water, too. So he's still starting to creep around with ships. He'll start to range some of these villagers. If they're... Oh, God, if they're even doing anything. Look how patient Dark has played as well. He hasn't gone for the kill. He's just making sure things look a bit better for him on the water. Mixing in some organs. Maybe we'll go for some raids here. You could still kill bomber cannons with Japanese trebs with the unique tech. Yeah, I think you could. It's a risky game to play, though. But, you know, if you feel like the game's going to go late, like, you probably feel like you got to try something, right? And he was trying, and he was pushing. And he just needed a little bit more support in some way. And anyways, GG's called. Dark gets another victory. But this series has been incredibly close. All the games have been back and forth. That was an awesome and well-fought migration game. And it's such a sad feel. Like, I feel really bad for Fedex because for a lot of people that have been losing, like the players that have gotten promoted up from silver, that is, they've been losing because they can't get into the winning positions, right? They just can't. The other guys are too good. The other guys get into the winning position, snowball to a victory. It's twice in a row. Fedex is getting into the winning positions. His macro has been good. His micro's been good. He's playing really well. And Dark and Imp just outplays the guy. And is able to, I guess in this case, fall back and defend with castles. But in the previous game, of course, push forward with castles constantly. The frustrating feeling when you know you're like, I was there. I did all the work to get this win, and I couldn't close it out. A lot of this, I think, does have to do with the Japanese. So all the positives for him on water, all the positives for him with food income earlier was due to the Japanese. And unfortunately, the struggles he had here was also just because he lacks options. So still, though, like Fedex is showing me he can get a win. He's at 4 wins. The other, like, 3 people below him are 3, 3, and 3. So if Fedex gets 1 win, you're suddenly at 5. You have a final round, which is against one of the players that's below you, where you could, get a good result and at the very least maybe stay safe in this group. So the goal for Fedex has to be 1 win. He can't do anything about it. For Dark, he's definitely second in this group right now, regardless of what happens in this game. But if Dark 3-0s, he goes into a position where if he 3-0s MBL, he actually steals first place in the final week. That's what the math is looking like, I think. Obviously, I think, like, that is going to be a really tough task for someone like Dark. Or not someone like Dark, but just historically, MBL has always had his number. But that is the situation we're in. So, all right. So to fix the colors quickly here we are in game number 3. I explained it at the end of the previous game. Goal's a win here for Fedex. Let's see if he can get it. Now, while the first game was an arena map, and then the second game was like a water map, and we saw monks and all this stuff, we didn't really see a lot of open land map action yet. Both players are really good on open land maps as well. And Fedex had beaten Rapard, I think it was, 2-1 all the way back in week 1. Or I guess maybe week 2 or week 3, because I missed the first week. And he played Lithuanians. He went heavy scout pressure and just dominated the Incas. So here he's got the Mongols. And Mongols, nice little hunt bonus to work with. Map's very open. Early feudal will be important. See what Dark wants to do, being up against the Mongols. I actually feel like this is kind of a decent matchup for the Mongols, all things considered. Because Incas, Aztecs, and Mayans are known for being very well rounded, but they're also not known for being good against fast uptimes. That's their weakness. If they're not dead, come mid-feudal, early castle, they're usually in a really good spot. They do have weaknesses with the faster uptimes. Also, if Incas want to go pikemen and want to go for eagles at all in this game, I feel like the Mongol steppe lancers are pretty strong against that. As Tato first showed in the Red Bull Wololo Legacy final. That was with Tatars, I think. And at that point, no one at the high level was going for steppe lancers. Also, one of my best calls, I think, in big moments as far as casters go. And that was one of those things, no one was expecting it. And I looked at the situation, and I always felt like steppe lancers could be pretty strong. And I was like, this is steppe lancers, Dave. We're going to see steppe lancers. And then Tato just completely surprised Leary. Leary didn't see it coming. And Tato won Red Bull. It was sick. That was a really fun event. I hope we have an event that matches that at some point. It's going to be hard to beat those Red Bull events. So a nice thing about Incas in terms of their flexibility is the extra pop space on their houses and the extra llama. Just gives them more room to work with. So normally you would have had to build another house by now, which is villager time building the house. But then also the wood, right? So you're saving a lot of wood with 4 on wood and Could see an early barracks. At Fedex, I think, will just be scouts, and then he'll take it from there. He's just pushing in his deer. We didn't see any laming attempts here. And I don't mind that too much. Obviously, he could have tried it, but he seems to have a lot of faith in his ability, so he just wants to make sure his scout is on full HP before he moves out. Is this the last set? I think it's the last set. I will have to double check, but I'm 90% certain it's the last set. The plan for today was to cast 4 sets, and then Cyclops versus Yax got canceled or postponed. That was supposed to be the first set of the day, and then that didn't happen, so I think these should be everything. Unless players didn't publicly schedule and played around while I was casting this, which I don't think would be the case. Ooh, that could have been rough for Fedex, because he didn't see the house at the right time, but being Mongols, he saw the TC. Dark's going to click up 21 pop. I think you could justify going up faster than this if you pushed in all those deer. But he did go 4 on wood. So. Wait, hold on a second. Oh, no. Okay, so. Alright, so before I cast this series, there was a message from Nikov in the Discord that was like, hey, their players aren't getting attack sounds for wolves. And we since investigated it, and it's a game bug where any map that's custom, meaning any map that's not like built into DE, any tournament map, for whatever reason, there's no attack sounds from wolves. And a wolf ran over here and attacked Fedex and killed this villager. And he never got an attack sound because the game is bugged. I've since told the devs and they're looking into it. But Fedex just lost the villager because he didn't get an attack sound. And there was an instance earlier today where MBL had a wolf attacking and then he realized and killed it. But it seems like it happened to Fedex. He realized. They pause. And they're continuing here. But that sucks. And honestly, I wasn't aware, like, no one came to me, no one came to JBR, was like, hey, can we replay this, blah, 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 blah. Nothing was really said, and now there's no loom, and now an eagle kills another villager. So now Fedex is down 2 vills, 1 because of the bug, and then 2 because Dark said, oh, this guy doesn't have loom. I gotta kill a vill with my eagle right now. And, I mean, realistically, you gotta be getting loom, I feel. You just have to. You know, if there's an eagle out there. But, oh, man. That's brutal. Brutal, brutal stuff. Well played from Dark, obviously. And now, I don't know if Dark picked up on the fact that there was another vill that had died before he arrived. Maybe he saw the body. But Dark will know if he just holds, he's going to have a villager lead. Dang. That seems rude, lol. Dude, it's a tournament. $20 a game, and every win matters. This is huge. Every little... These are competitive players. They have to take advantage of every little thing they can. So, you know, Fedex is making scouts. He's going to get loom now. And he's going to bring his scout over. And Dark is prepping all these little walls. Really annoying to have to do this. But absolutely necessary. Small wall at first. We'll finish the walls now. That villager was injured by a wolf. Yeah, it would have been 1 hit. It would have just been 1 hit from the wolf before it died. So it was slightly weaker. It probably would have died anyways. But you could argue that it gave Dark the idea to do it. Fedex shows up with his scouts. Down 2 vills. 1 to the wolf. And 1 to the eagle. And he will know now that his opponent's going to go spearman. And he's going to think it might be like spearman archer. So he will add a range to go for skirms. Now, the cost on food for your food units with the Incas is now discounted. I forget what the feudal age discount is. I think feudal age is like 15%. And then it's 20 in castle and maybe 25 in imp. Anyways, I always felt like Incas were already like really good. And then they received that buff and they went It went sky high in terms of how the pros see them. So I guess you could argue going trash because it's cheaper. Eagle and Spearman are going to die here, though. Nice micro from Fedex. Nice find. This is not going to kill villagers, usually. If there's no loom, that'll kill villagers, but a little surprised to see Dark moving forward here at the moment. So Fedex in I have to kill mode, I'm sure, as he's adding farms. Eco does seem to be really rough right now. Like, he's opted for a lot of army production, but it probably is going to fall off here in a bit. That's common with the Mongols. You bank up lots of food, you spend the food very quickly, and then suddenly you're like, oh, I'm a generic civ now. We're just normal farmers. 5 spears on the field for Dark. But any of the spears he does have will be vulnerable to these skirmishers now, which is why Fedex came directly forward instead of waiting for this. This is a good find from him. And hey, wolves. Okay, wolf's going to attack you now, Dark. How do you like it? And there's a hole here. Fedex going to find 2 villager picks. Beautiful finds. I'm really happy this is happening because currently I feel a little bad for Fedex. And when I found about the whole custom map wolf bug, I was a little annoyed as well from a host perspective. So that evens out the Vill count in terms of Vills killed, but Fedex has had 90 seconds of TC idle time. So he's still down 3 villagers because he failed to make villagers that whole time. I think some of that's because his resources were at the limit, but I think part of it's also he was focused on the micro and just didn't queue. And that's something that we become very used to, pros, not having TC idle time. Just because it becomes expected. But that's a reminder, I guess, that, you know, pros misplay on that stuff as well sometimes. But holy skirm numbers, man. This is really a lot of skirms. And that means the skirms from Dark could end up going down. Dark's got to back away here. He just lost a lot of his spearmen. Now, there's another spearman on the way. It's so interesting. MBL played a game in the previous series where he also went spear skirms, but he was, I think, Aztecs, not Incas. Wasn't expecting to see spear skirmisher. And it was also against Mongols. So it must be something about it for these guys. Nice trades from Dark over the last couple of minutes, though. Really clean trades. His farm count's looking incredible. Same for Fedex. No horse color on the farms, which hurts for the long run, but still maybe opportunities to take fights. And this is where MBL went to gold, and then he started to mix in some eagles. And this is where Dark is going to gold, too. Interesting. Really, really interesting. Dark has played well. That one overchop here cost him 2 vills, but I mean, very likely you lose more sometimes. Like, look at the confidence. He knows one's weak, sees it, bam, just bops it. Here is actually prepped a wall for once that tree goes down, so he doesn't even have to pay attention to it. Here, though, I don't like the skirm position. This is bold. Fedex. What? Maybe he knew that more spears would be coming forward, but that could have been at least a hit. Quick walling and micro needed here from Dark. Spears are coming to defend the gold. 500 food in the bank for Dark. But Fedex taking another nice engagement. And again, there's not many spears. This is the weakness of the spear skirm plays. The enemy skirms take out your spears, and then suddenly the scouts are all over your skirms. And oh, what a find! Say goodbye to all your skirms pretty soon, Dark. Oh, boy. This is huge for Fedex. He needs this. Wasn't able to get the kills he wanted, though. Only got 2 kills from that. He did take out a lot of HP, though. More spears, more skirms from Dark. KD 18-12 for Fedex, who could have won game 1. Should have won game 1. And could have won game 2. Wonder if Bloodlines is worth it. You're making a decent amount of scouts. You have the food, you have the gold. I guess it all comes down to if you think you're going to Castle Age or not here. Clearly, he thinks, yeah, I need to save for Castle Age because he's got excess golds, and then he's building a market. Skirms loop in on this side. Remember, Inca villagers are affected by blacksmith upgrades on infantry in the next age, not in this age. So for now, they're not protected from these attacks. And Fedex is going to buy res, and Fedex will click up, and Dark is on the way up as well. And Dark's adding barracks. Dark is so exposed here. Fedex should kill all these vills. I think. It feels like he's just a couple spear kills away every single time. Spears have just been throwaway units for Dark. But yeah, I guess Dark has enough skirms to kill these skirms. And then the second the scouts would show up, he's got spears available. I do think Fedex is lacking some Arabia confidence, though. Like, the spears are still behind. You should be forcing them back more. You could find some nice hits. Dark's going to take a fight. Fedex thinking about it. Going to build another lumber camp there. That is a rough lumber camp. But, I mean, he needs to finish this game fast. He wants Step Lancers. Step Lancers could still be awesome. 2 stable Step Lancers could be epic here. Still running around. Hasn't lost control. There's the second stable. There's the Bloodlines upgrade. No forging yet. I think we'll see a lot of food purchased here from Fedex. He doesn't really have great long-term food income. This is all about the first, 5 minutes of castle, and then it's all Incas if you don't do the damage there. And Dark doesn't seem worried. Dark knows he's about to get armor on his vills. And Dark's now moving forward, and I think Fedex will sense that is the case. And this will be awkward to deal with, but now Fedex can make Step Lancers, and let's see. We actually have Bodkin coming in for Dark. I didn't think he'd upgrade his skirms. It feels like a weird choice. Like, if he can't get pikemen, or, he can't also get the Eagle Warrior upgrades, then maybe it's questionable. But he is able to, and the villagers aren't armored here, and the army just waltzed directly into Fedex's base, where Fedex is waiting for Step Lancers right now. You hear the skirms and the scouts are slowly getting whittled down. And now it's important for Fedex to get these kills and get a counterattack. For Dark, it's Step Lancers from your opponent. I think Monks would be huge. He's got Monastery already. I can tell because the Monks on the way up here. And you go Monks and Pikes. In theory, the Step Lancers can be good against Pikes. But when the Pikemen get hits, they're still doing decent bonus damage. Eagles have been killed, though. Skirms should be killed as well. Don't ask me how the skirms have actually gotten as much value as they have in this game. Dark's done an amazing job with them. But finally, they'll start to go down. Dark maybe needs to fall back for a second. Gold's exposed for him right now. Pikemen running into the Step Lancers. There's only 5 Step Lancers right now. Resources brought in. There's probably such a massive difference, though, at this stage. Yeah, it's the food income. Like, the way that Dark built up his economy with the expansive farm eco and the horse collar upgrade has been really good. Fedex under pressure. Nice quick wall. Struggling to take some fights right now, though. He's not finding the moments he wants. He's going to try it here. Okay, he's getting some kills. There is a monk coming forward, though, from Dark. And there's always more pikes, and the knight gets converted as well. And Fedex, no! I think his window's closing, guys. As ridiculous as it sounds, I think your best play is to leave your base and just hope there's a hole and just hope to kill villagers here. Because if you sit back and you wait now, I think you're just screwed. You lose units to conversions, and you're up against pikes. Oh, man. What a gut-wrenching loss this will be for Fedex. Because, guys, his opponents below him, Kasva, Rapard, and Nili, they're playing their next rounds against each other. So Nili has to play, I think, Rapard, and Nili has to play Casva. So it is more likely that his opponents are going to get wins, right? I have to see who Fedex plays in his final round. First, let's see if we actually get there. I could be miscalling the situation. Feels like the conversions were really helpful. The healing's going to be helpful. The pikeman's going to be enough. And yeah, there's just nothing left for Fedex now. Thank God he got that win against MBL in that one round a couple weeks back, because he's still stuck at 4 wins. Dark played an amazing series, though. Dark goes up, and he goes up to 9 wins. So, let's go to the odds page. To the stats, shall we? And let's speculate after that 3-0 result. All right, so we input the results. MBL got a 3-0 versus Rapard earlier. We know it's really bad for Rapard. And then Dark gets a 3-0 as well. Meaning 87.5% chance for MBL to be first. And then 87.5% chance for Dark to be second. MBL and Dark play each other in the final rounds. MBL, he just has to avoid being 3-0'd. So, avoid the 3-0 there, and you're in first place. Otherwise, you're in second place if you're MBL. I think it's likely MBL will not get 3-0'd. So, thinking MBL's first, Dark second. The rest of this is really interesting. Because according to this, we have Nili at 50% odds to get third, which is a playoff spot. So, you could get third, and then you play someone who is second in another group, you win that series, and suddenly you're top 24 in the world, which is wild to see someone at 3 wins have that potential. But, Fedex still has a lot to play for. Fedex's final round will be versus Casva. And Casva's round before that, which is going to be in 4 days, is going to be up against Nili. So, this is a really fun finish because number 1 and number 2 play against each other. And then all these other guys just fight to the finish to see who goes where. Nili Casva will be insane. Rapard Nili will be insane. Casva Fedex will be insane. All these sets are so important. But, Fedex only having 1 round remaining does mean that he does not have 6 potential wins available. He only has 3 potential wins available, which is the unfortunate thing for him. Nili and Casva both having 2 rounds. They have 6 potential wins. So that's why both of these two are more favored to get the 3rd or 4th place position. So, should be a crazy finish to Group D. Kind of how I expected it to play out. I think if you went back and looked at my predictions, I would say MBL and Dark 1 and 2, and then the rest, who knows. I think I had said that maybe Rapard and Nili would be relegated. But Nili with good odds to get 3rd place. I'm sure he's pretty pumped about that. And I'm sure he's practicing a lot right now. But should be amazing games, guys. It was really going to go down to the wire there. The fact that 1 or 2 wins is going to be the difference between 3rd place and getting relegated is just wild.